And he lived from the dryer all week. And if the clothes were wrinkled, turn it on, spin it up, get the wrinkles gone. This is what he did. And when the dryer was empty, then he gathered up all his clothes again, and it was time to do the laundry. This is how he lived. This was task completion for him. But when he lived with someone, they said, what are the clothes still doing in the dryer?
It's going to be a really neat behind the scenes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so weird.
Because something always magical happens.
Wait, what? Did you just make that up? Hey, it's Meredith for Real, the Curious Introvert. Listen each week as I talk with someone new. The topics are as ADD as I am, but they'll inspire you to stay curious and grow. Big thanks to our location sponsor, the UWF Historical Trust.
Hey, Curiositors, it's me, Meredith. Welcome back to my Love and Relationship series. We took a brief pause last week to learn about divergent and convergent thinking, and now I cannot wait to hear your feedback on this episode because I want to know if you relate to the examples Dr. B shares from the side of the neurotypical partner or the ADHD partner. Just like the last episode, this one is packed full of insights and practical tips. And if you want those tips delivered nice and neat to your inbox this Saturday that the episode airs, text REAL to 66866. Also, if you feel like you'd benefit from Dr. B's program that's only open 3 times a year, be sure to click the link in the episode description or look for it in the Saturday email. All right, enjoy the show. Is your partner ADHD? Have you ever been frustrated with them because they don't finish what they start, they're messy, or they lose track of time? Or maybe you're the one with ADHD and you feel misunderstood or even parented by your partner. My guest today is a psychotherapist, certified ADHD coach, and international researcher. If you've listened to the show for a while, you'll recognize her as the guest that helped me create one of my top 3 most downloaded episodes. Today is part 1 of our chat where we'll be talking about the impact of ADHD on romantic relationships and the strategies around them. Proud podcaster, fellow ADDer, master of mental strategy, Dr. B. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you so much for inviting me to come back. It was so much fun last time, and I'm sure we'll have as much fun this time.
And my only complaint that I got from listeners about our episode was that I didn't let you go on longer.
Well, and your listeners have to understand that if they want me to go on longer, you got to book me for a day. Because I will not run out of things to share with them if we spend an entire day or 2 or 3.
I agree with that. And as a therapist, I'm sure you hear so many situations and maybe even complaints around the impact of ADHD on romantic relationships. So I would love to hear what you feel is the top complaint around the impact of ADHD on those relationships and your advice for strategies on making the most of it.
Okay. So the first thing that I want to say, kind of an umbrella statement, is to all your neurotypical listeners who don't have the magnificent brain configuration that you and I and a lot of other listeners have, is do not assume that you know what something that your partner is doing means what it would mean to you. I have spent over 30 years decoding and translating for couples when I work with couples in my private practice, that they say, well, this means this, and this means this, and this means this. And it doesn't. It's a completely different language. It's a completely different set of meanings. And you really hurt your ADD partner when you assume and you say, you're being lazy, you're being this, you're being that. And they say, I'm not. I'm stuck, I don't know, or any other thing that they'll tell you, and you don't believe it, and you don't buy it. I'm telling you, it's true, and you need to listen to them because they're not blowing smoke. So it's really important for me to say that first, because that is just so important. And when couples fight or get in disagreements or whatever happens in their relationships, it's typically because they're not even in the same conversation. and they're not even talking about the same thing. And so how can you come to a resolution and have a peaceful, loving relationship if you're not even talking about the same thing? And so there's certain things here that I made some notes about that are typical things that I see in relationships, and I can give tips on each one of these because I'm a speed talker and I get through all this, and I'm sure that your listeners listen fast and they like a fast pace because I want to make sure to bring as much value as I can, as I did before, in the time that we have because it's really important. So that being said, losing track of time. This is a big one, but it's probably not what people think. Because first of all, a lot of people I work with are time blind. They do not have a felt sense of the passing of time in their body. And so 30 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, 5 hours, they don't feel time passing. And so when they're oblivious to time and they're late for things, which this used to be my history, the 10-minute men, always. And it was fascinating when I solved this, and I want to give a solution for your listeners with this, because I was almost always late, and it was always almost 10 minutes that I was late. And when I went meta and I looked at this and I thought, this is fascinating, because I'm consistently 10 minutes late, which means I'm consistent and I'm on time, but I'm 10 minutes behind. So what's the mystery of that? What are these little 10-minute men that keep doing this? And what I found is, and maybe for some of your listeners, we don't have the sense of time passing in our body. And we have this misidea of what it means to leave. So if you need to leave, and I see you agreeing because this is so common, it's like, if I need to leave at 11:30 to meet a friend for lunch, let's say, leaving at 11:30 isn't get my purse, get my supplies, get my everything, and then get in the car, because that's where my 10 minutes went.
Yep.
So I created this strategy for myself because I'm very kinesthetic. I'm very in my body. That's how I learn experientially. And I found that a lot of my people do as well. And so I told myself, it isn't 11:30 you need to leave, meaning get my stuff together. It's that my butt has to be in the driver's seat of my car, pulling out of the garage at 11:30, or I'm late. And what I have to do, which is what put an end to the being late, that got me in the seat, leaving at the right time. But if I didn't get in the seat and the car wasn't moving at 11:30 in that example, basically I had to pick up the phone. I had to call the person I was meeting, and I had to tell them I left late. And I will tell you that most people do not like doing this, and it puts an end to the behavior really quickly, because to have to own that once again you left late, you're going to be late, but out of respect for the person you're meeting, you do it. Because if you're going to be 10 minutes late, that's 10 minutes of their life that you are stealing, that they could do something else with. And then they can just get together with you when you arrive. And it's fine. It's when you take someone else's time, which is an asset that we don't get back, it's rude.
Yeah.
And that's why I created it that way. And it works, and it's humbling. And I did it anyway. And I teach other people to do it. And it puts a stop to the behavior, because as long as I am physically where I need to be, and that's leaving, not in the house, gathering, hunting, that's not leaving.
Right.
That's prep.
Right.
That's different. That's prep to leave. Prep has to start before leaving can happen. That's how people lose time. That's how they get out of touch of time. And it's just not, I did this when I was 10 minutes late to meet somebody constantly, and they told me I was being disrespectful and rude. Mm-hmm. And it was important to solve it, because that's not what I was being at all.
Not
I just
intentionally.
didn't have a strategy to leave properly.
Right. I love that you have a strategy around that, and that you are suggesting taking the approach of stepping back and looking at your own behavior from a detective, I'm missing
Yes.
10 minutes. I know aliens didn't abduct me, so let's figure out where the 10 minutes went.
Yes.
Here it is. And then you just simply make that adjustment. So that is a fantastic strategy.
Great.
What else is on the could cause a breakup list for ADD
All right.
couples?
So the other one, excuse me, the other one that I have is not finishing what you start. And this becomes a joke because this is an executive function skill of task completion. And task completion is different for both people. Because if I use the example of laundry, and I used to work with someone years and years ago, his idea of completing the laundry when he was single and living alone as opposed to when he was married was the laundry. You go through the normal process, which he gathered up all the dirty laundry. He put it in the washing machine. He put it in the dryer when it was dry. That's where it lived. He never took it out. And he lived from the dryer all week. And if the clothes were wrinkled, turn it on, spin it up, get the wrinkles gone. This is what he did. And when the dryer was empty, then he gathered up all his clothes again, and it was time to do the laundry. This is how he lived. This was task completion for him. But when he lived with someone, they said, what are the clothes still doing in the dryer? They're not in the dryer. They don't live in the dryer. You're supposed to take them out of the dryer, maybe put them on the bed, fold them, put them on hangers, hang them up, put everything where it goes, fold up the towels. That's task completion for that person, not for the person who lives out of the dryer. Because the visual for the person living out of the dryer, this was a complete task. He was done. But for the person who saw it more like I see it, and other people might see it, it totally wasn't done. I couldn't have lived with him. That would have been unacceptable. But understanding that's his visual of the task, I could have helped him if he was willing to expand his task imagery to see that the complete task for most people isn't that, and it was cut short, and he needed the whole visual. And if we did that, then we could get along. And if not, oh well. It's going to be difficult.
I feel like you must be a fly in the wall of my house. This is creeping me out a little bit because I'm like, oh my gosh. My husband actually has a mantra that he shares with me when he's trying to lovingly encourage me to task complete. He says, Meredith, focus and follow through, like he's a coach. And you know what? It's so simple. And because it uses alliteration, it actually works. And I will think to myself, okay, no, I do the exact thing you said but with the dishes. Like I do them in layers. We don't own a dishwasher, so it's a thing. And I'm like, no, they're mostly done. I'm going to do them later. And then I hear my sweet husband's voice, focus and follow through. And it's not a parental thing. You know, he's not parenting me. It's just he knows how I work, and I can remember a sing-song mantra. And if I'm, my intentions are good, then I will follow through. If I'm being salty, I might leave those dishes. I might make more dirty dishes, but that's a different episode for a different day.
But also the idea is not just for you, but for other couples. They really need to have conversations around what task completion is. Because again, if you're not in the same conversation and you say this isn't complete and they say this is complete, you're going to argue.
Yeah.
Instead of this is how I see the task is complete. And you might even get a good laugh because you might find out they're so different and just it's hysterical what people think the complete task is. Like make your bed. Make your bed is like pull up the covers. My bed is made. It's not smooth. Nothing's adjusted. Stuff's hanging out all over the place. It's not the visual that the person who wants the bed made has in mind. But to the other person, maybe a teenager, maybe a spouse, who knows, it's made. Mm-hmm. Because it isn't peeled back. Peeled back is peeled back unmade to them. Made is covers up. Down is not made. That's task completion for some people. And it's funny. I mean, I laugh about it because these are the things people argue about and get upset about.
Hey everyone, just a quick interruption to show gratitude to our sponsors and give you some special deals. So I don't have kids, but I also want to tell you about It's Your Magazine. They're a national family-centered publishing company with free parent magazines. They have parenting advice, events, and inspiration. I'm actually in a networking group with the publisher, and this guy is all about family. You can view a free magazine in cities in Texas, Oregon, Washington, and Florida by checking them out at itsyourmagazine.com.
The UWF Historical Trust. We shoot the show at the Museum of Commerce and the Pensacola Museum of History. And it's not just an amazing step back into the 18 and 1900s, but it's an event space too. And because they love creative collaborations and have spaces for all party sizes, they're pretty much the perfect venue to make your event stand out. So if you need a unique space in downtown Pensacola, take a look at historicpensacola.org. And if you want to tour one of the 12 museums, get your tickets in person so you can show the agent one of my emails and get $2 off an adult ticket. Get emails by texting REAL to 66866. It seems like no one can agree on anything nowadays. But I have found the unifier to unite us all. Mosquitoes suck. Mine were so bad, they were in my car. Have you ever tried to swat a mosquito while driving? Not advised. Insect has been great because they guarantee their work and pollinator care is always top of mind. If you live in the Florida Panhandle or the Gulf Coast of Alabama, give them a call, ensec.net.
Now back to the show.
So what else do I have for you? Clutter. Clutter, because some people are hoarders. It's a different animal, let's say, than clutter. Some people are collectors, and they collect, but they have no boundaries in terms of their collections. So their collections kind of overtake their life, where some people are into crafts. And they collect and they collect, and they haven't even started the crafts with the things that they've collected that they're going to make things with. But they're going to use it someday because it's valuable and it's still in style and it's still all these things. But it just grows and grows and multiplies until it becomes clutter. And then it doesn't have homes because actually there's not enough space for them to give it homes. And so when I work with people, and I used to do organizing. I used to work as an organizer a zillion years ago, and I used to go to people's homes. And in some homes, there's no floor space. There's stuff you walk on because there's that much clutter. And there isn't enough space unless they're going to rent space to put everything that they have that they say that they want. So one, the clutter might come because there's no boundaries to how many books, how many records, how many discs, how many whatever, because this is my amount of space. So this is how much stuff I can own so that everything can have a home. But if you bypass that and you're already in clutter, you're probably going to have to size down. That means you have to be able to make decisions, and people have a hard time making decisions, which is why I teach decision making. Because most of the people I know don't know how to make decisions, and the way I was taught to make decisions is ridiculous. Pros, cons, make a decision. The old Ben Franklin way. Are you serious? My father taught me that. I can't make a decision even today if I do it that way. I need my values. I need protocol. I need criteria. I need timeline. I need all this information, and then I can make any decision that I need to make and know it's a good decision. But not with pros and cons, which is what couples sometimes do. Why can't you decide? Why can't you make up your mind?
So people who have ADD or ADHD, that the reason that they have trouble making decisions is because the hyperactive nature of their mind. Is that why? If someone
not necessarily. They lack clarity about what the decision is that they need to make. They lack a methodology that goes step by step.
Okay.
Because I know when I make a decision, it's a good decision. most people who don't know how to do this don't know the decision is a good decision until after they see what happens when they make the decision. I don't want to wait for it all to cave in or be the wrong decision. I want to know when I make it, it's a good decision. And a lot of couples obviously have to make lots of decisions. And this is an issue because the idea of, let's say, here's a decision to buy a house. And so what are your values, each of the people in the relationship? What are your values about a house? What does it have to have? What kind of amenities? What kind of this? Location? Anything that's like, what do you value? What is important? The schools, the this, the that. Both people need to put their values, what they value that's important. Let's say location, cost, room, space, design, all of that. Then they need to put their criteria. What does it need to include? Is it 3 bedrooms, 2 baths? Does it have a living room? Does it have a this? Does it have to have a backyard? Is it a 2-story, 1-story? All these things. And you guys got to agree on it. And this is where negotiation with couples happens. But here's the other thing that couples run into. And I learned this in my training as a hypnotherapist, which is about communication and the fact that some people, their learning style is that they are very literal, which means they take things at face value. So if I say the door is closed, if you were literal, you look at the door, you see the door is closed, and you go, okay, fine, and you go on. Other people are very inferential, which means they read into that statement and don't take it at face value. So I say, the door is closed. They look at the door, they see that it's closed, then they wonder, why is Dr. B talking about the door? Is the door supposed to be closed? Is the door supposed to be open? Is there something extraordinarily different about this door than other doors? Why is she talking? And on and on and on. And this isn't even an ADD or executive function thing. This is humans. This is applied to humans, the way we learn. And then to make it even more complicated with communication with couples, which is where I get into all this decoding with people, is we speak the opposite of how we learn. So if I'm a literal learner and I need details and I need all the information, I'm going to speak in inferences, which I'm going to say things like, there's a great movie that starts at 7 o'clock tonight down the street. I think you'd really enjoy it. That's my inference. It's an inference for an invitation for us to go to the movie together, but I didn't say that. And if you aren't an inferential learner and can't pick up my inference because it went straight over your head, which is what many couples do, is like they're sitting there, there's eye contact, they saw each other, they know neither of them are deaf, but still it's like, well, you heard me say that. How come you aren't at the movies to join me to see the movie that I know you would really enjoy? Because I didn't know it was an invitation. You said I would really enjoy it. You didn't say tonight. You didn't say meet me. You didn't say any of that. I'm a literal learner. Don't infer. I can't take an inference. I can't figure out. I'm not a mind reader. Be literal with me if you know I'm a literal learner, not inference.
That's so good. I'm laughing so much because obviously I have a personal connection with this example as well, because obviously you have bugged my house and you know what's going on. We are already running low on time, but is there another hang up that you want to share with us before we go and before we hear about your opening class that you're doing?
Sure. So let me do this one really quickly. Has to do with being distracted. This is an issue that comes up for couples, and it often comes up with sex because you need to focus when you are having intimate relations. And if you do not focus on what your body is going through, what your body is experiencing, a lot of things don't work correctly. If you're daydreaming about other things that you need to do and you're checked out, and people expect that the equipment's going to function the way that we're supposed to be functioning, it doesn't work that way. And people who are sensitive can feel that their partner isn't there, and it feels very empty. And then people don't want to be intimate, because if you're going to be checked out every time we're going to be intimate together, why do I want to be intimate with you? I can do other things. I can be intimate with myself because I know I'll show up for me and I'll be present and everything like that, and I'll enjoy the experience, as opposed to, you won't be present for me, so why should I be intimate with you? It's a connection. It's relational. I can be relational with me. I want to be relational with the person that I was going to be intimate with. This is a big issue. In fact, I did a chapter in a book. I was asked to do a chapter in a book on sexuality as it relates to ADHD. And it's about women. And I don't have it at the top of my mind because I wasn't thinking about it until this moment. But I can get it to you if you want to put it in anything so that they can read that chapter, because it includes a lot of what I'm talking about here. And it is pretty good if I don't say.
I mean, I didn't expect this to turn into a sex talk, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think this is pretty great. You always have such a great way of framing things. I loved with the decisions how you talked about start with your values and how every single pain point turned into an opportunity for communication and really for a greater partnership. And that's what the goal is.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, I feel like we ADDers bring special things to the table. I know this talk was about, hang-ups that can pop up in romantic relationships, but there's a lot of great things that we have mental access to because of the way that our brain is beautifully wired. And it's great to be able to use those assets and to make adjustments when we're with people that have a neurotypical brain. So tell us, please tell everyone about your class that is open enrollment for what you have going on.
Right. So it's not a class, it's a program. And that's okay. And on the 7th, it's like this big build up, and here we are again, because 3 times a year and only 3 times a year, program opens. So Sunday the 7th, the program opens for enrollment. What I have suggested in my own shows and my podcasts is for people to get on the wait list. They can do that at my website, which is drbarbaracohen.com. And they'll see Adventures in Achievement. They'll see where the wait list is. They can put their name on, because there's been sequence emails that have been going out educating people about executive function, which is what the program's about. The program is now a 7-month program. It is amazing. There is nothing on this planet or anywhere in this world like it. And I am proud that I created it. I created it out of what I know that I needed for myself, what other people needed that I've worked with over the 30 plus years of being a therapist. It's a training program. It's a coaching program. It's a community program. It is a transform your life in 7 months program. And if people think that's a bold statement, talk to me. It ain't. I measure things. I collect data. And I know that it's true. And it's beautiful, the work that I see people doing. And I absolutely love it because, as I've said someplace before recently, I was born to do what I'm doing in my work with Adventures in Achievement. Everything I've done in my life led up to this. I was born to do this, and to do this like with you and podcasting and all of that, because ending the needless suffering that's going on the planet, that is what my vision is. That is what my mission is. And it ain't going to stop. Not ever going to stop until I'm not here anymore. And I got another good 30 years as far as I can figure that I'm going to be here. So this is what I'm doing.
I think it's wonderful. Now, do they go to the website to enroll in that, or?
So they go to the website to get on the wait list.
And what's the
that'll
website?
Let them, what's that?
Can you say the website for us?
Sure. drbarbaracohen.com. And if they want to go to the page on the website where the wait list is, then it's /AIA for Adventures in Achievement. Takes them straight to the page. There's a small little form. Put your information. You're immediately put into the queue to get these emails that are going out about executive function and the program. And then there's just this ton of information on the 7th to tell you everything that we are doing. And to me, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. And I wish it was around when I needed it instead of training me myself. But like I said, I absolutely love it. I'm proud to be the person who's doing this and making the difference that I'm doing in everything that I do, because it's so important. And it's a calling. It didn't start as a business. It started as a calling. I'm called to do this. I do this. It's a heart and soul legacy thing. And it will be what I will leave whenever it's my time.
Absolutely.
And it'll still be there for people.
It's so impactful. Thank you so much for sharing it and sharing your wisdom, sharing your perspective.
You're
and
welcome.
I can't wait to do part 2 with you, which is next week, which will be the impact of adult ADHD on work and office relationships. But for now, that is a wrap. Woo! Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, you will also like the first episode Dr. B and I made, which is episode 33. Stay tuned next week for a continuation of the Love and Relationship series when I talk with Dr. B about the impact of ADHD on work relationships. And if you like the show, use the send feature in your podcast app to send it to one friend. This helps spread curiosity and grow the show. Talk to you next week.